Hey everybody, my name is Grant Walkup and I'm a content producer for Socially In. Today on Beyond the Basics, we'll be going over how to create a simple graphic using an online resource that many of you will probably be familiar with called Canva. I think this is going to be a really awesome video and tutorial for anybody that's starting their own company and they're trying to figure out how can they make those really cool graphics to let people know they're there. And on top of that, anybody who's really just trying to get into graphic design but doesn't know where to start and is not ready for those big steps into Adobe products. So let's go ahead and jump on in. All right, awesome. Now that we're here at Canva, one of the really cool things about Canva is you don't really have to worry about going online trying to find what are the different pixel dimensions or anything like that. Canva already does that for you. And all you have to do is type in right here where it says design anything. You just type in where you want it to go, basically. So let's go ahead and say we want to create an Instagram post and we know they're squares, but we don't really know the dimension of them or anything like that. We just know they're like a 1x1. So let's go ahead and type in Instagram post. And there we go. We have all these awesome options to go ahead and figure out where we want to start. So I just want to start with the basic Instagram post. I hover over it and immediately it tells me it's a 1080 by 1080. That is a 1x1. Then we get really all these awesome different templates that we can start out with. So for this one, I'm thinking about doing kind of like a cool vacation kind of feel because I'm pretty sure we're all kind of getting a little tired of being cooped up. So I think it's time for us to get out there, even if it's virtually. So we can go through the template and we can see all these different designs, all these different templates that we can start with. And we have some really cool ones in here. If we go back to the top, and I wonder if we can hone this down, we can say Instagram post vacation. Now that we typed in Instagram post vacation, we're able to kind of really hone down on exactly what kind of post we want to make with some really awesome starter templates. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and choose make a splash. We click it and it went ahead and already kind of gave us the template along with all the assets already on it, which is really awesome. I want to go over to background and I want to type in beach because I like that beach a lot, but I think there's better ones out there. And we can see all these different ones that say free at the bottom that we're able to use. Once we click it, it'll go ahead and immediately place on the background for us. So we can kind of go ahead and skip several steps that would be in other applications and other softwares. So I like this one a lot. I think this one has a pretty cool aesthetic to it. And so does this one. So let's go ahead and use this one. Now make a splash doesn't really fit what we want to do here. So I'm going to select it with the mouse. Then I'm going to hit backspace to delete it. Now I'm going to grab my text and I'm going to bring it up. And you can see there's all these purple lines that are kind of showing up. And it's a little hard to see in this specific one. So actually, let's just choose a different one so you can see it for now. That person's going for some long laps. Woo! And you can move it around and you'll see all these kind of purple guidelines. And what that's doing is letting you know where the safe zones, what, like, is it centered? Is it centered horizontally? Is it centered vertically? And pretty much this is going to do a lot of work for us. Like right now we know that it is centered horizontally and vertically, so therefore it's in the middle of the screen. But here's a really cool way that you can go ahead and skip dragging. So if you go to position, you see immediately our middle and center, we can't click them. That's because it's already in the middle of the image. But if we click top, it's automatically at the top now. So this is really an easy way if you want to grab your headers and kind of change your headers very quickly where they are. To give you a little bit of an idea, I'm going to hit ungroup because this is a group text. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this a little bit back to 0. Then I'm going to go over to my position and I'm going to put top. Now, while I like it up there, one of the issues immediately is that it's a little too close to the edges. So we want to go ahead and bring that down a little bit to about right here. And we're going to go ahead and go back to our really cool image. So now immediately we kind of get this really cool vibe. Now, while I do also like the beauty salon script, I want to go ahead and find an alternative script that I think will work a little bit better. Specifically, I'm feeling something very bold. And the reason being is because we'll be changing the background one more time. Because while we have the color palette on the background that we really want, it doesn't quite fit the image that I want to portray here. So we're going to choose horizon because I like horizon. And then we'll just click off to the side over here. We grab again, we can slide it down like this. Now right here we have our alignment. Right now it's centered. We click it again, it left align. Click it one more, justifies, right align, middle align, left align. Okay. And all I want to type in is gnarly. Kind of like a gnarly wave. So then we highlight it, or you can just click it like that. Grab this, and there'll already be pre-selected font sizes that you can use, or you can type in your own. For instance, I can just say, clearly 120 is on here, but if I just wanted to bring it down to like 119, 119, not a massive difference, but now let's say, okay, well, I want to bring it to 110. Well, now immediately we have another letter on the upper line, which is great because that lets us know that we are in fact shrinking the font size. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit enter, like that. I'm gonna drag this over a little bit just for now, just for positioning. And I'm gonna bring this down to here to hold on to it for a little bit later. Now we're gonna choose our wave again. And we're gonna increase our size by holding down the bottom right corner. And I think this is pretty cool like this. Then we can just drag it over a little bit if we want to, like so. Bring it down a little bit. And one of the cool tricks you can use, for instance, if you want to drag the text, let's say down, but you don't want it going to the right or left a little bit, like you do not want that. You want it perfectly going down on that y-axis. What you can do is you can hold down shift and it'll lock it to where the most movement is happening. So for instance, if I drag to the right, now it's locked onto the x-axis. If I drag down, it's y-axis. Cool. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're just gonna kind of make it a placeholder, fun little text just to get our brain going with something. And we're gonna call it like Ultimate Wave Magazine. Now we're gonna go ahead and left align it. I'm gonna click off and then I'm gonna drag it. And you'll see a purple margin show up on the left, like a little purple guideline. But this one's dotted, and what this dotted one means is that this is not based on the page layout alignment. This is based specifically, in this case, on another element. This element being the text. So that lets me know it's left aligned to the text. So there's not like a weird gap where it's like letter of, gnarly and then letter for U of ultimate. It's not gonna do that. Cool. Then we can go up here and let's go ahead and change our title since we kind of like where it's going right now. This is a fun working title. And we'll call it Gnarly Magazine IG Post. Cool. Then something cool we're gonna do is we're gonna Control C, Control V, and it makes a copy. Or we can hold down Alt and then drag it out. The benefit of using Alt over Control C, Control V, which is just Control Copy, Control Paste, is that when you Control Copy, Control Paste, you see it aligns in a way to where you can see both elements. The one that you previously took at the beginning, the source basically, and then the new element that's being added, which is the copy of the word. We don't want that. It's easier just to hold down Alt and then hold down Shift and drag it out to the side, depending on what you're doing for your graphic. And then we can use backward to place it in the back. Now, what I'm going to do specifically for this color is I want to take this color, and what's really cool about Canva is that it looks at your photo and says, cool, here are the main swatches, which just means colors, in the photo. So I'm going to make this a little gray because I think that's really cool. Well, let's play around and see. I think that looks really good. I don't think that looks good. Yeah, so I think this looks really good. So then we'll use our arrow key now that we still have our text selected and just kind of move it over. And then what we can do now is we can go up here to our transparency, which is another term for opacity. This is Canva's version of opacity, and bring it down. So now we kind of have the shadow on Gnarly that has kind of a cool hue to it and kind of creates depth in the text itself to look a little close as if it maybe was a 3D element. Or at least that there's enough depth where it's raised off the image to it has a shadow. What's really important when doing this is to remember that where your shadow is, you have to think in regard to like if there's a sun facing it, like a spotlight basically. And if your spotlight is facing it to the point where your shadow is going to the left, well then a lot of your shadowing probably needs to be towards the left. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take Ultimate Wave Magazine, and we're just gonna go to our colors here again, and we're gonna play around, and we may not actually like any of these colors. We may easily just come back to our white, and that could be our look. Now, I actually kind of dig this color and this color. I think this is a nice contrasting color towards the current element, which is that blue in the background. I think it looks pretty good. All right, so next we're gonna add an outline. When you go to elements over here, you just go up here and type in outline. Now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take this, our outline, we're gonna drag it on, or you can just click it and it'll place it right there in the middle of the image itself. We're just gonna drag it out to fit. Pretty simple. And now we kind of have a cool border around it. Now, while I think the border is cool, I don't think the border is cool enough to stay. So then what we'll do is we'll grab the other one, bring it out. You see it already matched our color. Now we're gonna drop our transparency down to probably about like here. Oh, it's like this very subtle depth to it. So now we have gnarly. So we click our image, and we can go up to filter, effects, adjust, whatever, and change a lot of really cool aspects. So you can go up to effects and say, okay, I want to slice it. And now we can select some of these presets. So it's like, this is sliced, this is kind of sliced. You can change it a little bit like that. And it's just kind of cool if you're looking for like a pixely kind of vibe. Now, I'm not really interested in this one specifically, so I'm actually gonna click off of it. All right, so now that we have like gnarly Ultimate Wave Magazine, next what we're gonna do is we're going to go hit add a new page. And what that means is just gonna make a new page basically, using the same background image, but not carrying over any of the front assets. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here and we're gonna find our next template. Our next template, let's say we're gonna do like a flower shop. So we type in flower. I think this one's kind of cool, say it with flowers. Then let's just say, let's make like a cool trendy saying with it. We already got say with flowers, but we want to make our own. So let's say like fresh like flowers. Okay, drag our box out so our text fits. Awesome. Click the edge. Oh, there we go. Drag it using shift. Notice the name of our company. Name of our company in this case is going to be Big Bouquets. And then you can do your website if you want. So www.bigbouquets.com, and then we can click here. We can change the background image if we want. I actually think this background image looks kind of good, but I want to extend it out because essentially like there's a tag here and I don't really want the tag. So like right here, grab here. We're gonna change this color over to like a white so we can see it a little bit better at this moment. So we go to fresh like flowers, then we're gonna go up to here. We're gonna change our color. Okay, and then we're gonna hit bold. Keep it italicized. It looks good italicized. Pick a bottom one, maybe put an underline underneath it, like that. Bring it down here, get rid of that. Bring it over to here. And then we can kind of like play around the color basically to kind of get a fun color. I think the pink is really good. Then we change this, and Big Bouquets is like a cool name for a flower place, but like I think we can do better. So we'll say fresh like flowers, fresh flower delivery. And let's go ahead and bring that over to be left aligned. That way we have two alignments in here. We have a right align and a left align. And we can always change this if we wanted to be the left align, like that, and then drag it over. Okay, there we go. All right, so now that we have our cool kind of like promo for Ultimate Wave Magazine, gnarly, and then our fresh like flowers, fresh flowers delivery, hit download. And then you're gonna have different sizes here. For this one, we're just gonna do PNG. Keep our size 1. That way it's 1 by 1, 1080 by 1080. And you can also select the pages that you specifically want to download. I'm gonna download both. I hit download, preparing my design. Okay, cool. So that's basically it on how, if you want to create like a really basic design, specifically using photos. In Canva, there's obviously a lot of really cool kind of like drawings and elements you can add over here. We didn't really talk too much about the elements, but that's because I just want to go ahead and like start y'all off with this. Hope y'all like this. If y'all want to see more, just hit us up and let us know that you want to go beyond the basics.